Good morning, everyone. Actually, Kumar Vikram Singh ji was to come here, and I have been told by Shilpa that I have to fill up that time. So I'll be speaking on the crowd management. Until 2 months back, I was associated with a crowd management company. When they wanted to get associated or hire me, I told them that in India, we are already doing crowd management, and many companies in the security sector are providing such kind of services. The chairman of the international company, perhaps amongst the first 2, 3, 4 companies in the world, said, no, you only do the security part. You don't understand the crowd management. I was thinking that we have been taking care of the airports. And I must say that I have the opportunity of working with all the airports under the rules what were permitted that time. We have done IPL matches. We have done all exhibition ground, all the exhibitions which have been managed in the past career. But still they were not convinced. They said, we are doing all the Olympic matches for the last several years, and therefore you need to learn. Partially they were right. Let me say that Major Ranjit Rajan is there. He has a very large empire, and other companies are there. We need to be specialist. The moment we say that we are a crowd management specialist or event security specialist, our acceptance to the client becomes more easily. If we were going for IPL matches, likewise, I see that Colonel Multani is here. This time he has been able to take part of the IPL matches in Eagle Hunter, and G4S and many other companies would have taken. Therefore, we need to be specialist. And in order to be, even if we know we are specialist, we have to convey and market that. It becomes easier for that. So I always remember Peregrine when I go to the airport. You happen to see all the time. Sometimes I feel like saying to the supervisor or anyone that I know your chairman, okay? But this is, when they were talking about crowd management, I thought, where in the world we are so many 1.4 billion people, we have all the places crowds. And as a result of not being managing crowd, whether by the government, whether by the private security, wherever they are, we have lost so many people. Fortunately, I was carrying a few slides which I gave in Rashtriya Raksha University. They called me to talk about the crowd management because they are running now this course, and I will run through that. So okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Events. All the Sports Authority of India, IPL matches, very large crowds. And what is the difference? I'll show you in an animated film at the end. I thought that I knew everything about the crowd management, but it's a very specialized field, if you want to do it in a very professional manner. It's certainly a safety of the people, those who come there, they want to enjoy the event. The consequences of poorly managed crowd can be disaster. People can be injured, lives can be lost. Major Ranjit Rajan has mentioned about the crowd and chaos at the Delhi airport. Everybody who walks in there says, ये तो bus stand से भी खराब है. इतनी ज़्यादा भीड़ भड़क्का है यहाँ पे. And let me also say that the impression of the country starts, if you are a first-time visitor to India, it starts from the moment you land at the airport. If there is a chaos, it's not being managed properly, signages are not there, new visitor makes an impression, and that's the first impression. Anything goes wrong at the cricket stadium, you would have anger, COVID-19 in India. I don't have to emphasize, we are all from the security field, that being in a crowd presents an unusual number of situations and behavior in people. A lot of people can act in crowds in a way they wouldn't act on the street by themselves And this mentality can lead to disaster situation if not kept in check by experienced crowd management. Internationally, there is a venue management programs. There is a association, they conduct this program. You cannot be deployed in an event, let's say in United States, unless you have done this kind of a program. If you want to get into this kind of a area, there will be a lot of employment can be created. These people get the training part of it. These are school students, college students. They are imparted 15 days or a 1 month of training. When they get these certificates, these crowd management companies call them and they give them the work. So it is a employment generation. It is making them disciplined. It is giving them the jobs as well. What are the challenges in India? Because we have 1.4 billion population, stampedes in huge gatherings at the large events. The number of people which have died in last 2 years would have been over 700, in the crowds, Disorganized crowd management, inefficient risk management. I'll a little bit explain on that, The behavior of the people is unpredictable. You may be right this moment, and then after 15 minutes in a crowd, what sparks off, the behavior could be different, For pedestrians, the movement is so easy and flexible in comparison to vehicles and driving, since they are governed by the driving regulations. However, pedestrians can easily change their movement and direction whenever they want to and whenever they want, wherever they want, Well, we all have been reading in the newspapers and watching in TVs how many people have died whether it's a religious events, sports events. 19 people died by drowning, other events during Ganesh Visarjan ceremony, which happens every year. Some number of people die there. Vaishno Devi stampede, we all know of. And I can go on the list because we all are knowledgeable about it, Many of these could have been saved if there was proper planning done, So what it requires is ushering and security, besides the equipments which we are going to talk about. An appropriate plan for crowd management also entails ushering and security personnel, You go in an event, you don't know which side to go and how much time will it take, where are the toilets, how long the queues will be. Tickets are given much more than the capacity of the hall is there, Security is also a significant feature of the crowd management plan. Security personnel should be experienced in handling disputes, which is very important, They start showing their not managing properly, let me say that, it's okay. Emergency services. Let's say the factors which affect the crowd management, coming to the point, vehicle and pedestrian traffic flow, which is very important, Sometimes number of vehicles is very large. Sometimes tickets are issued more than the capacity of the stadiums. That enrages the people, So it requires security services, guides and stewards, regulation, communication of rules, planning and adjusting rules, which I'll explain, emergency and disaster plans, communication with crowd and between staff and management. If anything goes wrong, how to communicate with the crowd there. So the public address system, all the mobiles, etc., that should be working very efficiently, Limiting wait time and feeling of aimlessness. You take a business class ticket or you take a VIP ticket, you go there, and if you have to wait for half an hour just to be told you can enter now, it's not enjoyable, You go to an event to enjoy. You want to be feeling safe and secure and want to enjoy with your friends and family, Ambience makers, that is colors, lighting and music, makes a difference. Predictions based on a big data. How many people were there last time in this kind of an event, and how many people we can expect, and the type of crowd which will be present there. Catering, if it is a whole day event, cricket matches, toilets, clock rooms, vehicle parking, protection from weather conditions. Unpredictable weather can create a problem. The consequences of poorly managed crowd can be disastrous, which I have said. People can be injured, lives can be lost. Even if an event is poorly managed, nobody is hurt. It may not bode well for future events. Once the event goes bad, then next year it becomes difficult to pull the crowd there. A steady flow of crowds is most important, I would say, number one. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to be sitting in the vehicle. Parking space is full, capacity is not known, tickets are given more, and you don't enjoy the program, you will start criticizing the management people. For a security company, I would say, even otherwise, we can categorize the events: sports, entertainment, concerts, awards, beauty pageants, fashion shows. For business, I would say exhibition, trade fairs, and conferences, and annual general meets. Crowds can be furious. They can perform acts leading to possible destruction, hooliganism, and even murder. We have seen those ones. No two crowds are same, or every crowd is different. For the same event, every time you will find a different type of crowds. They can behave violently, resulting in the destruction of property, personal injury, and in extreme cases, death. Crowd management plans should be adjusted to meet the needs of the event and the potential crowd. As Major Ranjit Rajan had mentioned, in terms of the public partner and private partnership with whether CISF, with the police, somewhere private security can play a role in the crowd management as well. So I would, one is the security part of it: mobile patrol, armed guards, escort guards, and marshals. Venue management will include supervise all operations and figure out any possible choke points. Access routes, signages, and emergency services. Exemplary guest services, ushers, crowd managers, and quick response time would be most critical. Use of technology at crowd surveillance, drones, facial recognition, and artificial integration. Every event requires a planning with their head of the departments, owners of the venue, event contractors, venue owners, local authorities, emergency services, first responders, transport providers, neighboring business, and other third parties affected by your event. I'll move to the next one. We can categorize the kind of crowd behavior: individualistic behavior, group behavior, that depending upon the kind of event, social interaction behavior, leader-follower behavior. And so I will not take further time in this thing explaining. If we were to say there are casual crowds, conventional crowds, expressive crowds, acting crowds, and protest crowds, they come with the objective of doing a protest. They already plan that we will go to this thing and we will take the attention, and we will appear in newspapers, we'll be able to give our message. So that kind of intelligence and managing them would be important. Most important, the other important thing I would say is the signages. When we go to an event or we go to any of the games venues, the signages are most important. Say, for example, any wet area, slippery, no alcohol beyond this point, exit only, direct a crowd, car park entrance 100 meters, or 200 meters, or whatever they. It should be already be informed to them, So if something goes wrong, we should be able to speak to our marshals, event managers, security personnel. Big signages should be there. Something has happened, please don't panic, etc., etc. Wearable devices when we go that people don't come again and again. Special devices can be worn for crowd management, such as smart bracelets that have internet connection. These bracelets can immediately send data to the servers or when demanded. To overcome this problem, it was suggested to use the ad hoc hotspot Wi-Fi in smartphones to avoid this breakdown, especially. There are a lot of technologies which are available which can be used, Facial recognition system, baggage inspect. Drones are there, many drones are there, micro drones are there. Command and control center will be getting all the information. So action plan is entry and exit plan, car parking, monitoring, screening visitors, RFID, DFMD, HHMD, baggage X-rays. Deployment of lady marshals, it is very important, Seating capacity plan, announcement, communication system, all this I have presented in an animated form, which I'm going to show you the next film. If internationally people know that we can conduct programs, international events, Olympics, Asian Games, and it is safe here, it is better managed here, a lot of people will come, a lot of visitors will come. Archaeological Society of India, a lot of big heritage places, sometimes it becomes the crowd cannot be managed, people go with a different kind of impressions, They may not like to say good words about us when they meet their friends back in their country. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail, Benjamin Franklin. So I'll just show you the next video, please. I would say Manjeet Rajan sir can have specialized crowd management.
Something that's often overlooked is that the most important part of any event or celebration in the world are the people who come to witness it. This makes effective crowd management a very important part of any successful event. With over decades of continuous evolution, with efficient and optimized processes that have in the crowd management and event security industry. Crowd management team comprises guards, traffic marshals, ticket takers, security, and ushers, along with event supervisors, officers, and managers. Before the beginning of an event, the event manager takes the briefing of the staff, covering the roles and responsibility of one present, along with important protocols to be followed in case of emergencies. To ensure smooth execution of the event, work begins from the moment a car enters the venue. A guard checks the color-coded ticket at the gate, where the color tells him about the parking and seating arrangement. The flip side of the ticket has the exit route plan in case of an emergency. The car is then directed toward the designated parking area, with the help of traffic marshals and proper signages for the guest's convenience. As the guest moves to the main entry gate, the ticket taker scans the ticket and has them walk through the DFMD while putting their bags through the X-ray scanner. In the incident of possession of unwanted or objectionable material, the matter is reported to the command center and appropriate action is taken. Once an individual has been frisked by the security staff, they are escorted to their seats by the ushers. Each block of the seating area has designated event supervisors and event officers for the safety and convenience of the guests. Each block also has 2 to 3 housekeeping members for cleanliness and sanitation. Signages for facilities like public convenience, refreshment area, and guest services are properly displayed. Any lost item can be reported at the guest service center. To make the event more accessible and inclusive, necessary arrangements like ramps are made for wheelchair users and people with mobility problems. Apart from human resource, we believe that technology plays a very important role in surveillance during an event. Entry and exit points and the seating area are under CCTV surveillance. Drones are deployed for better surveillance of crowds and to detect any signs of trouble. They relay real-time information to the officers and managers at the command center who are ready to liaison with external agencies like security, fire, and medical in case of any emergency. For extreme emergencies, an ambulance with a wheelchair, stretcher, basic first aid, and paramedical staff are always on standby, along with PCR fans, firefighters, and fire tender. Despite the well-preparedness, an emergency is the last thing that we want, which is why at the time of the receipt of the venue itself, identification and clearance of all the exit paths is done. It takes a lot of hard work to put together a successful event and deliver the best experience to the audience. But the smiles on the faces of the crowd and our client make it all worth it. Time is a critical factor in the execution of any event, and a well-planned process ensures that approximate time from the main entry gate to the seating area is 4 minutes. Lastly, a contingency plan for all eventualities and worst-case scenarios is always in place.
Thank you so much. I understand Kumar Vikram Singh ji will be coming this afternoon as well, so thank you. Thank you for your patience.